because it is possible to be in the presence of someone who has mastered some things, but has not cleared these mental poisons and obstacles. And so you can have a teacher who is charismatic or who has some good information or who is beautiful or who is appealing and intelligent or even who can stimulate powerful experiences due to their own Shakti, their own power. That all can be true, and the person can be full of inner poisons or inner obstacles. And those inner obstacles poison them and poison others. And in fact, sometimes such people can go into very deep, profound states or do deep, profound practices. And those things can fuel these obstacles. Yes. So you might think, why learn all this stuff? There's all these tantrika practices out there, and I can just go do those practices and then I'll resolve all of this because it's spiritual alchemy. No, it does not work that way. And this is what we've seen time and time again, and we're seeing it especially right now, where a lot of teachers who are doing those tantrika practices and talking about tantrika and talking about yoga, they have deep spiritual experiences, they have deep Shakti kind of experiences themselves. They may even have siddhis or powers, all right? And they may be able to stimulate those experiences in others, but all of that is entertainment. None of it has anything to do with true spiritual growth. And this is not just in the yoga world, this is in all different kinds of spiritual and religious traditions, okay? It's very confusing. And we want to look for teachers who are ethical, who are not filled with inner obstacles. And as students, we want to resolve these inner obstacles, because when we have these inner obstacles ourselves, we leave ourselves available to victimization. It's not to victim blame, but it's to understand that this dynamic between abuser and victim is possible due to these inner obstacles. And there are many, many stories, Puranic stories in this tradition of asuras or demons. A few chapters in, you're going to get to hear what Krishna has to say about what is a demonic person versus a saintly person. It gets very interesting, and it's very pertinent to the time that we're living in right now. But there are endless numbers of stories of demonic beings who wish to gain some power so that they can have victory over their enemies, and they will do penance and practices and mantra recitation for 1,000 years on the top of a mountain, the same practices that a yogi would do. Why are they doing it? In order to gain victory over their enemies. Why? Because they are filled with kama, krodha, lobha, bheda, bhaya, moha, mara, matsarya, dvesha. They're full of all of that. They do these practices, they gain great power, and they become more vicious. They become fueled. And they're not interested in resolving these obstacles. They're using spiritual practices and tantrika practices to fuel the obstacles and become more dangerous in the process. So whenever you hear a teacher say that they have all the Shakti, so what? An electrical wire is also full of Shakti. You don't go hugging it and asking it for its blessing. Okay, so I just have to do this little tangent right now because I have your audience and it's important. All right, before we go on to, and also because sometimes this can be rejected as these teachings without understanding the context for them and the value of the values. What can happen is, because if you're coming from a culture with this sort of puritanical background, it can sound like the values that we're about to go into are about being good, being perfect, cultivating good girl or good boy virtues, following rules. It's not about that. It's clearing space to make yourself available for that ultimate self-knowledge. Okay.